subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Delhi elections are done and dusted. Exit polls have a rare unanimity and are showing us the direction. Nevertheless, let's not talk so much about Delhi. Let's use this as a way of looking at politics going ahead now. Because after this, there is a bit of a gap between this and the next big state election, that is Bihar. That will be towards the end of this year. That's a big one, much bigger one than Delhi. Delhi is prestigious because it's right here, but Bihar is a big state, one of the big states in India. And BJP has already lost some states in the heartland, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh. They don't want to lose one more. And we'll talk about Bihar as well. So what this tells us is, it tells us three things. The trends in Delhi, if these trends are right. But also we add these to what we have learned from Haryana, Maharashtra, Jharkhand, states which have gone to the polls after the national elections and Narendra Modi's sweep. In fact, we have said this earlier that all these three states were completely swept by the Modi wave in May, but subsequently in elections, his party did not do that well. It did reasonably well, but not that well. So of the three states, BJP today rules only one of the three, that is Haryana, and that too not directly by itself, but in partnership with somebody whose dynasty Narendra Modi had attacked as being only interested in money. That said, three things we have learned from these elections so far. One, that people now make a clear distinction between voting for Narendra Modi and voting in the state elections on Narendra Modi's call for just anybody that he might put up there. That they are not doing. They are making a clear distinction. Chances are that if there is a general election, Narendra Modi will still win most of these seats. But people make a distinction. Number two, people are no longer so impressed with polarization, fear of Pakistan or the Muslims, that they will then get swept away in that polarized manner, as Amit Shah has tried even more than Narendra Modi, and they don't vote like that. Their instincts that guide them in these elections are different. And number three, very important, that with this economic stall over the past 3 years or so, and joblessness, people are beginning to hurt. Two things are hurting people big time. Joblessness figures are the worst in 45 years. And second, farmers. Now, you might say that farm production is all right, monsoon was fine. That is not the issue. To keep inflation low, Modi government has systematically kept the procurement prices of food grains low, and that's begun to hurt the farmers. So these are the three things that emerge. But importantly, there is a fourth thing, and that is the nub of our argument today and our discussion today. The fourth thing is that this idea that unleash Narendra Modi in any state, and he goes with the same kind of polarizing message, attacking Pakistan directly, indirectly, attacking Muslims directly, indirectly, and I'll give you examples, and also using very vicious language about people in his opposition. That is not working. And this idea of Prime Minister as a permanent combatant, as a constant combatant on behalf of his party, and as a constant one-man army trying to win everything is not working. And in the process, we find that Prime Minister is using language and methods that he might want to review whether it's worthwhile or not. So let's take some examples. In Delhi elections, once again, he didn't say anything directly against Muslims, but he said that what is happening right now, JNU, Jamia, elsewhere, Shaheen Bagh, ये एक प्रयोग हो रहा है. As if it's an experiment, it's a trial balloon to see if it works. You can use this method to throw all of India into anarchy. So the message there is quite clear. Nothing is left to doubt on that. Of course, his partymen then called Arvind Kejriwal, somebody called him a terrorist. Somebody said, press the button here and the current should reach Shaheen Bagh. So this did become, in a way, Delhi versus Delhi's Hindu versus Shaheen Bagh, or the effort was to make it like that. Whether it happened or not, results will tell us, but exit polls tell us that this has not happened. Similarly, go back to Maharashtra, the language used in Maharashtra. Sharad Pawar said in Maharashtra, why is Narendra Modi talking about Article 370 all the time? How is that connected with the politics of Maharashtra or elections in Maharashtra? So the response was, those who say that Article 370 is not relevant to politics in Maharashtra, the message to them was from the Prime Minister, doom maro, doom maro. That means drown to death. That's what you deserve, in shame, drown to death. In the same election, you remember just before the elections, there were cases filed against Praful Patel of NCP. NCP, which in the past has been called by Prime Minister, naturally corrupt party. The Prime Minister also said कि कुछ लोग यहाँ मिर्ची के business में लगे हुए हैं. So nothing was left to chance. In Haryana, earlier, the Prime Minister had similarly said that Haryana Congress Party की चरागाह है. It's a grazing ground for the Congress. कभी-कभी यहाँ पे उनके दामाद भी, son-in-law also comes there. So this is a certain language and method that's been used in these 4 states. Jharkhand was the most striking because that's when riots were going on in West Bengal, anti-CAA riots were going on, trains were burned, terrible things were happening. And the Prime Minister said there, who's carrying out these riots? Who's protesting? You can see clearly, you can tell from their clothes, you can tell from the clothes they are wearing. Now, these are very clear messages. And in spite of these, you can see that these did not work. In Maharashtra, it's true that the BJP and Shiv Sena together got a majority, but the BJP still fell way short of what it had expected to get itself and what the opinion polls, etc., had shown earlier. But again, the question is, why did the Shiv Sena choose to go away? And my view is that they chose to go away because by this time, they had also begun to feel intimidated of the BJP and the BJP's method under Narendra Modi and Amit Shah. This was no ally right now is comfortable, and that is evident in the fact that of the 13 allies of the BJP, 11 have already expressed reservations in various degrees about CAA, NRC, etc. So this is a question now for Narendra Modi. There's an election in Bihar later this year, and then there are elections April, May of next year in 5 states. It's Tamil Nadu, Kerala, in both of which, and Puducherry. In all 3 of which, BJP does not have such a stake, although they will try and do something in Tamil Nadu and make a beginning in Kerala, but really, they are not in the hunt for ruling the state directly. But there are 2 other crucial states, West Bengal and Assam. They are doubly crucial because that's where the minority vote is important for, in one case, for the incumbent, that is Mamata Banerjee, in the other case, for the challenger, that is the Congress party. So polarization is going to be on the front burner there, and you will have to see what language is used because Assam is the home of CAA, NRC in Assam, and NRC has already been carried out, and the CAA might be the first state where CAA is employed. In fact, if anything, I would like to believe that the idea of CAA emerged from Assam when the NRC process actually, or the equivalent of the NRC process ordered by the Supreme Court, actually produced more Hindus with doubtful citizenship than Muslims. So this was then devised to protect those Hindus and then keep Muslims in detention camps. So once again, you will see that the same kind of language, the temptation will be there. Will it work? I don't know. But the evidence so far is that this is not working. Now, I know that everybody wants to win everything. Nobody wants to lose an election, and Amit Shah always says that they contest a panchayat election with as much commitment and as much zeal as the national election. So it's fine. Elections are a tough thing. You throw everything that you have. But if you look at the big picture, and I think that is where problems are arising. The big picture is India's governance. As we had said earlier, May onwards, India has become more and more federal. Of the next 6 states, that is Bihar, Assam, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Puducherry, chances are that in 3 to 4, once again, non-BJP or anti-BJP governments will come into power in some way or the other. So Narendra Modi has to deal with this diverse polity until the next round. Now, how does he deal with this diverse polity when he uses this divisive method of campaigning or this sort of polarizing method of campaigning, and which in some ways is not prime ministerial, but also then he ends up saying such rude things about people who might be sitting chief ministers or future chief ministers or who might get re-elected in their states. Because in a federal system, the center has to work through the states. Now, if you look at the big ideas that the prime minister has, say labor reform, for example, labor reform cannot happen unless the states cooperate. GST happened because the states cooperated. If states stop cooperating, even now GST will be problematic because many creases need to be ironed out. But labor reform, land acquisition reform, the big new plan and dream of manufacturing in India, make in India, which actually is now being repositioned as assemble in India. None of that is going to work unless the center and the states work together. So the Prime Minister talks about cooperative federalism, but this idea of pitching the Prime Minister in front of every election campaign, even if this is half a state or a glorified municipality like, say, Delhi, is something which carries a big downside. Number one, it is not working. People are not just voting on his call for just about anybody. They might vote for him, but not for anybody on his call. So this exposes the Prime Minister's limitations as a campaigner and also hands out losses to him, which then it is difficult for him or his supporters to protect him from. You can always say that he was not in front, Amit Shah was in front in Delhi or somebody else or Nadda, but it doesn't work like that because he is your main campaigner. So the idea of Prime Minister as the main and in some ways the only campaigner, not having any state leaders who can go and get votes for themselves, of using a divisive, polarizing method everywhere, which doesn't work. And fourth, using language and allegations against rivals, particularly at the state level, who might come to power or who might be in power, without whom then you can't carry out, can't implement your larger agenda. So this is something that needs a review because the largest, it's correct that the BJP wants to win everything. It's correct that Amit Shah and Narendra Modi want to win every municipality and every panchayat. But underlying all this, the foundation of all this is their central government. Because if the central government is not successful in implementing its plans, agenda, etc., which will need the states, then it's not going to be able to go back to the electorate in 2024 and even before that in UP in 2022 and crucial states, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh in 2003 with an impressive scorecard. So maybe Delhi election and the break now is a time for the Prime Minister and people who counsel him and his party to reassess their approach to provincial politics. So as I conclude, I will bring back to you something that I had written on 13th of December 2017. That was in the wake of the Gujarat election campaign. And that's where at one point it looked like it had become quite a close election and the Prime Minister went back and held many more rallies, which is brilliant politics, that's fine. But he also made allegations against his predecessor, Dr. Manmohan Singh, insinuating that he was now conspiring with the Pakistani High Commissioner at a dinner at Manishankar Iyer's house to install a Muslim as Gujarat's Chief Minister, or namely Ahmed Patel as Gujarat's Chief Minister. I had then said that all kinds of allegations are thrown by politicians against each other during the elections. All is fair in love, war and elections. But you never accuse your predecessor or any of your predecessors of treason when you are the Prime Minister, because you presume that Prime Ministers of India at least are patriotic and they are not traitors unless you have some great evidence, in which case you should charge them. And there I had used an expression which I had borrowed from American folklore. It is something that the Americans use often, particularly now with Trump there. It's called jumping the shark. And this comes from an old sitcom, I think Happy Days, that was losing its ratings. So as it was losing its ratings and desperation grew to revive its ratings, at one point, one of the participants, one of the actors in the show on water skis actually jumped over a shark in the water, hoping that that will bring the ratings back. So that is something that you do in extreme desperation to get ratings back. That's called jumping the shark. And we had said that Narendra Modi making allegations of treason against Manmohan Singh amounted to jumping the shark. I am appending that article. You can read that. So the lesson now is that while you can keep jumping the shark, as he has again done in many of these places, including Delhi, now it is not bringing back the ratings. If it's not bringing back the ratings, it is losing you goodwill. If it's making it difficult for you to implement your national agenda, if it is losing you the trust of India's states and state leaders, then it might be a time now to reassess if this is a strategy that is any longer worthwhile.